Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch our demonstration of AutoElevate. We're going to be walking through a privilege access management solution and how our internal IT teams can do a better job of granting just-in-time access when privilege is needed, being able to lock down administrator rights, make sure UAC is turned up per Microsoft's best practices, and be able to run some of those rules and policies that allow us to grant the use of privileged access when it's needed to who it's needed to. So that's going to be the focus of our demonstration today. I'm going to walk you through the basics of how the application is put together, as well as some use cases on how it might be utilized in the way that you can grant privilege or deny or create rules, things like that. So we're going to start with a little bit of architecture and how it works. So this is a agent-based solution. So you will need to deploy an agent. Recommended you can do that with group policy, or if you're using Intune or you have like SCCM or anything like that, you can package this up. It's just an MSI file and it's very small. We'll help you with how to script it out and deploy it, or you can simply just do it with group policy and make it real easy to do. Now, once the agent is installed, what happens next? So it starts out in what we call audit mode. Audit mode is that do no harm. So what we want to do is we want to tell you three basic things. I want to know where UAC is turned off or it's not set high enough. Like we've turned, in some cases, we might have turned our admins down to level 1, which is off, or might be down at level 2, or we may not be in the most secure setting for UAC. So we're going to tell you that so we know where we need to turn UAC back up again. The other thing we're going to be looking at is, are we still operating with admin privilege? And this is usually a pretty eye-popping number. We kind of look and realize, wow, I didn't realize, because there usually isn't a good way to see it and report on it, is like, wow, we have a lot of folks that are still potentially local admins. And so we want to be able to help mitigate that. Ultimately, our goal there is to get you into a place where we can set the system to go live. And basically that's where we're auditing and we're catching these UAC events so we know what to create rules for. We have UAC turned up to where Microsoft says it should be, and then we're going to start removing admin privilege so that we can now control through a single kind of pane of glass, if you will, access to privilege. All right, so while we're in audit mode, we are going to be listening for UAC events, and we can group and organize these events in a multitude of different ways. If we want to see what folks are using it, we can maybe organize this by username. One of the really nice parts about the grid view here is you can sort and organize the data any way that you want. So it's sort of like building custom reports on the fly. So if I want to see by vendor maybe, or by mode or description or file path or anything like that, we can look at all of the different potential columns and say, all right, let's group this by vendor. Let's see what vendors are out there. So I can see surf rights out there. So it looks like, this Blake's trying to run Hitman Pro. Okay. So if I wanted to create a rule out of that so that, we didn't have to potentially always answer that request to grant privilege, I might want to create a rule for that. So we can go in there and say, you know what, let's convert this to a particular rule. And so we're going to let's just do this right here and make sure all these are off. There we go. So let's say convert to rule. There we go. So what we want to do with this now is I want to see what the software is. So the event info. So this is what Windows UAC saw in the event. So it's Hitman Pro. Where is it actually coming from? What time did they do that? And then what we want to do is create some level of disposition for this. Do we want to approve it? Do we want to deny it? What kind of approval are we going to do? We'll explain all that. So the first thing is matching the ID criteria. So I need to understand, from a matching perspective, if I'm going to approve this, what are the conditions that we should grant that approval? Now, our rules can be very exclusive or very inclusive. It's really up to you. So in this case, maybe an example of a very exclusive rule, right? This is exclusive to this particular software only. I might say, use the MD5 hash as my match criteria, right? So if it's just this hash, we will automatically go ahead and approve it. We will give it an admin level of elevation, and it could be approved for, say, maybe everybody or a particular company or location, right? Now, from a enterprise IT perspective, this is just a way to organize systems and computers. It's just a logical organization. This is a multi-tenanted system. So if there was parent companies, child companies, you could use it that way. Or you might choose a single company and use locations to logically group and organize machines, sales, marketing, development, whatever the case might be. But it's just a hierarchy and a level and a logical way of organizing so that you can apply rules and organize systems in the way that it makes the most sense for you. So now that would be a very exclusive rule, right? You can only, I'm only going to grant privilege if this hash is the one that is requesting it. Otherwise, it's no dice. Now, let's say I want to do something a little less restrictive and a little more inclusive. So maybe I might use the certificate for the publisher. We see this a lot with Intuit, right? For QuickBooks and things like that. QuickBooks has a lot of updates. They could come whenever. We never know when they might show up. And so, you know, in that situation, or a CAD application, or the development resources, or, you know, if you're mortgage or banking or finance or state and local government, like there's so many different unique applications. And we might say, and they could be being updated all the time. And so we can go, all right, you know, let's just use the publisher. We'll use their certificate. And as long as that matches, then we'll go ahead and approve it. We'll give them the right elevation and we'll approve it for the right group of people. Okay. Now, I'll talk about elevation really quick because there are two types of elevation you could have. There's a user-based, user context elevation, and of course the context of an admin. Now, if you do an admin elevation, a lot of things will work like this, like a Microsoft Control, for example, command line, PowerShell, registry, you know, running an application as an administrator, things like that. So you can do that in the context of admin. Those things will work just fine. But a lot of other applications may require that the user be elevated to admin, okay? And we can do that as well. And we'll take the user, we'll elevate them, AutoElevate, right? We'll AutoElevate them to an administrator. We'll grant them the privilege that they need to get past Windows UAC, get past the privilege part of it, and then, you know, we'll demote them back to standard user and put them back to where they were. All right, so that's general rule creation. And so that's what's happening with all of these systems while they're auditing. So we kind of put them out there in the world for a week or two. We let those UAC events start to trickle in, and then we start to take those events and we turn those into our rules. And so now I've got rules that I can allow people. So, because ideally what you want here is 80 to 90% of the requests for privilege that will come in, you kind of want the system to handle those for you, right? But now there's another side of that. Well, what about if I haven't created a rule? Or what if it's a one-off? Or what if I just want to allow somebody to do something one time? How would I do that? And that's where requests come in. So let's walk through some of those use cases and take a look at how we might work through some of those with the end user. Also, we want to talk about the end user's experience, because if we are now really turning up security, we're turning up UAC, we're now Windows is getting in the way of the end user, and we've removed their admin ability, we want to make sure that they understand what's going on. We want to make sure that they have a good experience, right? Because otherwise they get really frustrated really quickly. So end users will be screaming at managers and managers will be screaming at your manager, and then it just gets ugly after that. And so let's go look at some of those use cases and let's look at the end user experience and let's go through what they go through. So I'm going to flip over to this desktop. I'm a standard user on this desktop. I am not an administrator. This is just a VDI session. So it works anywhere, whether it's physical, virtual, it doesn't really matter. So let's take use case number one. I'm going to go and install a program. Maybe I use this program at home. I went to some mirror site somewhere. I downloaded it. This program, by the way, is complete garbage. But it is, that's the whole point, is we want to be able to show you how you can review this before you give somebody access to do something. So we're going to say, yep, I want to go ahead and install it. Of course, UAC is going to get in the way, and now we're going to do the intercept. So I've sort of put UAC in the background now. And I said, hey, we notice you're trying to run this program. Are you sure you want to do it? Now, it doesn't matter whether the end user says yes or no, right? We've already captured the event. But of course, they want to install us. That's why they downloaded it. And so they're going to say yeah. So we're going to say yes. And now we've got a little timer that comes up. Now, I've made this timer very short for demo purposes, but you can make this timer whatever you want. That message you're seeing, you notice it's bolded, it's centered, it's large text, it's got a logo in there. So you can take your corporate logo and you can put that into the dialogues. And that way they know it's coming from corporate, right? And we know it's like, oh, that's our internal IT team. We know them. So they know it's legitimate. So in this case, we've said, hey, we're going to get back to you. Maybe we send it over to a ticketing system. We have a number of different integrations, or we could use an email connector to create a ticket for you. But we also want to tell them what's going on. It's like, hey, we need a little more time to review this request. So it lets the end user know what's happening. I was like, it's a little more chill. It's like, okay, they're looking at it. And it's like, hey, as your dedicated team, cybersecurity team is here, working to keep you safe. We want to make sure this is all right before we go ahead and let it loose. So thanks for your patience. Hey, don't worry, don't take too long at all. So they kind of realize with the timer and everything, they see like, oh, all right, they're working on this. It's pretty good. So now they can just go back to doing what they're doing. Let's go back to the admin side and take a look at how that comes in. So now you can see this computer has tried to run it, and that's the active user on it right now. The request is currently pending. So let's go take a look a little bit deeper at what's happening. So just like when we are creating our rules, we know information about the application. So I know what you're trying to do. I know the type of software, I know where it's located, like why is it on your desktop? But I can see a little bit about the application itself. I know where it's coming from. So if we do use this logical grouping, I might be the sales department, the marketing department. It could be the remote users. It could be the office or HQ users, right? It could be the C-level suite. It doesn't matter. It just allows us to group and organize so I know where things are coming from. Now, we're going to look at the security disposition of the machine. So this is letting us know, okay, we've got AV turned on, it's up to date, Windows updates on, maybe we have a different, solution for backups, things like that. That looks pretty good. Here's the most important one, the app security checks. I want to make sure that, if this is a relatively known application, the publisher cert is verified. In this case, it is not. So that is my first red flag. My second one is coming from Virus Totals. So now I can go out there, we provide a subscription to this. I can go out there and do a little bit of research. As IT professionals, a lot of our stuff is research. And this is a great place to get consolidated information about all these. It's using the MD5 hash to identify this file. That hash has been scanned by probably just about every one of the major, security vendors that are out there. They've all uploaded their information about what they found. If you see two or more that say this might be something bad, run away. Don't do it for sure. All right, so this is enough for me. I don't want to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and deny it. So we're going to deny that. We'll click OK. Now I have what we call, that's a just-in-time request. So now I've gone in, I've reviewed everything, I've looked at it, and I go, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not going to let them do it. Maybe later on, or we'll deploy it later, or might create a rule for it later. But for right now, I'm just not going to let them do it. Now, the other thing too is you can see that the approve deny has gone away. There is no edit button. You cannot change the disposition after the fact. Once it's decided, it's decided. You can create a rule for it later on. So if somebody else does it, it will approve it or deny it for you. But ultimately, my decision on this is pretty much final. Nobody can change that. Now we've got to go let the end user know. So now we've come back with a message, and now we got to give them the bad news. We got to let them know we can't let them do it. So in this case, again, we're trying to be super nice here. These messages are all customizable, and I highly recommend that you do that because it provides so much better of an experience for the customer, right? They understand, they know what's going on because you're explaining it to them. So your end users, they're a lot more understanding. They may not be happy about it, but they can be a lot more understanding. So now let's look at, so we're going to say, okay, fine, I can't do it. That's whatever. But let's say there's a situation where you actually want to let them do it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and run for this little plugin here. Again, hey, we step in, we go, hey, we see you're trying to do this. Are you sure you want to move forward? Of course, a lot of times they're going to be like, yep, I sure do. Again, we're going to give the opportunity now. Now, there are push notifications. So like my watch is going off, my phone is going off, I can have the browser notifications on. You're gonna know that somebody is trying to do something and they're waiting for your response. And again, customize that timer, however much time you feel you need if you're going to do just-in-time requests for your end users. Now, so we're gonna say, okay, again, let's go take a look at the admin. Let's see what's coming in for me. Yep, I see another request right there, right? So now let's get a little more info on this. All right, so know where it's coming from. I got the application details. That looks pretty good. Security checks are all looking good on the computer. This is the one that's important. Look at that. That publisher is verified. And there's nobody saying there's anything wrong with it. So right now, this looks pretty good. I'm familiar with this application. I'm going to go ahead and approve it. Now, you notice there's a little bit more information. Admin level elevation, user level elevation. And it just depends on the application, which one you need to do. So sometimes you might have to do a little bit of testing to understand what the application is looking for. That way we grant the right use of privilege, either to the user or to an admin account that we have. Now, I'm going to approve this one time, but any one of these other ones would create a rule, and these rules have a hierarchy. So it's least privilege first. So computer can override a location rule. Location could override a company rule, and then you could override a global rule with that. And again, these are just logical ways to organize stuff, used however you want. So this computer could say, on this computer as a development person, I could do this, but I might copy that rule and for the whole company say nobody else is allowed to do that but that person. All right. In this case, we're just going to prove it one time. We're going to grant it admin level elevation. And again, I cannot change it. It has been decided, and the system is going to remember that setting. Now, here's something else unique about this too, is I'm only showing you today, but I could go for, say, the last month. For example, we're going to be auditing what everybody is doing, who is or is not granting privilege. So I could reorganize this as a little report. So I could say, you know what, let's drag status over there. And I want to see of the maybe it's the level 1 help desk that we've given access to, or level 2 help desk, whatever the case might be, who's granting access and how much are we approving or denying, and should we be creating rules, things like that. And so we can see all of our pending requests that are in there. We see everything that's been denied. We could even subgroup this. Be like, okay, well, who is this for, right? And then we could take that down a whole other level. So now we could see which people or which groups or locations, right? So which teams are being impacted. What are we approving or denying or using? So it's just a great way to organize information. Now, let's go back to that little end user one. So the customer was waiting for you to approve this. We gave it the approval. It's going to come back and say, hey, you can proceed with admin privilege. Like, woohoo, all right. So now from an end user perspective, this is where it's super easy. They could do this later. I don't know, maybe I jumped on a Zoom, or we can do it right now. Of course, for us, we're going to go ahead and do it right now. It's going to pick up exactly where I left off. It's going to rotate that over-the-shoulder admin account. It's going to rotate the 256 character password we set up. It'll grant privilege either as an administrator, which is with an admin account that we've set up, and then it's going to demote that account back to standard user, and it all happens in milliseconds in the background. okay? Or we elevate the user, we take them, make them an admin briefly, we satisfy that privilege, and we put them back to a standard user. And as you saw there, it happens literally in the blink of an eye. And then they can just move forward. I can just go install this and everything is great. Now, let's take that one step further. So what does it look like if we do, like we got to do an update and we've got a rule in place and they can just do it? Ultimately, that's what we want to get to, is we want to capture as many of those events and turn those into rules so that we don't actually, as engineers, have to actually answer those requests, right? We only want to answer this, like whatever the weird out of bounds stuff is. Somebody's trying to install World of Warcraft or something. So when it's all running and it's humming along and the automation's in place, it's very simple. I need to install this Java update. The system has granted me admin privilege. I can now install the update. It's just that seamless. Really, really simple, great experience, right? And then when we didn't have a rule, we made that a really nice experience for them. Hey, we're working on it. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do it. Or, hey, we're working on it. Sure, go ahead, you can do it. And then we pick up where they left off, stuff like that. All right, so that is some of the key use cases when we're doing just-in-time requests. So there's one more mode that I want to show you before we go today. And that mode is what's called technician mode. And what we're doing with this is we want to follow Microsoft's best practice. And Microsoft says the best mitigation strategy is that nobody should be an admin and everybody should be a standard user. Well, this is how we solve that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to run our little app here. It's going to bring up a QR code. You can do this with a hotkey setup as well. I'm going to open up my AutoElevate app, of which I am signed in as an engineer. Got a little QR reader here. I'm going to point that right at the screen, authenticate myself for this machine, and we are now in technician mode. So technician mode allows me as a tech to grant myself privilege. But here's the key difference. I, as the engineer, am just a standard user, right? I'm not an administrator. Therefore, I do not know the admin account username. I do not know the admin account password. I don't have access to admin ability unless I'm using AutoElevate. So let's say that I've got to get into the registry and make a change to fix this desktop. Again, still standard user, right? So we are going to go ahead and run that as an admin. You see a new little sidecar come up, okay? So this lets me know that I'm in technician mode and I can now grant myself either a user elevation. So if I'm remote controlled in and I'm helping somebody with this and they're logged in, I don't have to log them out, then log me in, then do the update, then log me out, log them back. I don't have to go through all that. I can just say, oh, we're just doing user elevation. It'll just elevate their account. Or I'm going to do an admin elevation, and that's going to grant me administrator access into the registry so I can do my job. And again, I am not an administrator, but I have the ability to get in and play one on TV, if you will. So now let's go back. Now, when we're done, we can close all that down. We'll go back to live mode. Now the system is back to fielding requests, sending it into the help desk or, the tier ones or the technicians or whoever's working on it, right? And the system's back to behaving, following rules, sending requests in, things like that. Here's the other key element to this when it comes to auditing is when I'm an administrator and I'm in there working on like a server or somebody's desktop, there is no tracking of when my privilege use is actually put to use. I don't know that you were in the registry or you ran command line or PowerShell or anything like that. Those actions as an admin are not tracked. But in AutoElevate, they actually are, because as a standard user, I don't have privilege. The system is granting it. So every time the system grants privilege, I can actually track it all. So if I look at Bill Morgan in technician mode, you can see me granting myself access to the registry. So now you have a running audit. Oh, you were in the registry, you ran command as administrator, you installed this software at this date, this time on this computer or this server. So everything is audited. And that way, whether it's an end user doing it or whether it's a technician doing it, we are going to audit your use of privilege across the board, across every workstation, laptop, VDI, server, virtual that you guys have. So, all right. Well, that's our show for today. Really appreciate you taking the time to come out. If you have any questions, come visit us, www.cyberfox.com.